Yeah, we're locked down already over here. Although it's not been the same as last time. I mean, the first time was a proper lockdown, wasn't it? And the schools were closed, so we were doing homeschooling and that. So that was a big shift, and everyone was a little bit more wary of everything. You wouldn't touch the parcels you got from Amazon. You'd leave them on the porch for a couple of days before you'd even go near them. But this time, everyone seems a bit more relaxed. The schools are still open, but they basically just shut all the pubs. That's the main thing they've done, which is obviously bad times, really.
Yeah, it's I think we have like 1 or 2 days, but I was chatting with a friend who I was actually supposed to hang out with tomorrow who lives pretty close by, and he was like, "Oh, bit of a scare. I'm gonna have to cancel. I was exposed to someone who tested positive like last week." And he said he feels fine, but he has to get tested and then quarantine and all that stuff. So it's
Yeah.
definitely sort of hitting more and more people. So anyway, people stay
We
safe
have
out
an
there.
app. Do you have an app? We have an app. So your phone is supposed to, talk to other phones that are nearby, and then if they get a positive test, your phone alerts you, and then you have to self isolate. And if you go to any restaurants or anywhere, there's like a code you scan as you go in, and I don't think it works probably, but that's the idea anyway. Because it's government made, obviously, so it's not going to be that great. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I was
I don't
gonna
know when.
say,
There is a vaccine allegedly on the way, so maybe that's going to be the end of it. I don't know.
yeah, I was just watching like one of Joe Rogan's guests talk about it, and yeah, I'm like, we're lucky enough, you and I and my wife, to work from home, so we have a lot of flexibility. So we're just continuing to stay home, and we were actually visiting with friends occasionally, with like even out at restaurants, usually outdoors and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah, we did that as well, but that seems to have all gone now. In fact,
it
the
is.
rules are weird here because you can, when we kind of unlock a bit and people can go back out again, you can go to restaurants and bars and things, but you still can't meet friends and family in your own garden. They're basically the government is stuck between trying to keep the economy going and not overwhelm the healthcare system. That's kind
Yeah.
of the balancing act they're trying to do, isn't it?
Right. And then we'll move on and talk about marketing, everybody. But it's interesting, how different places are handling it. I was reading just before we started the new rules, and they had like a yellow, orange, red system, and now they've added a purple. So there's like basically what you're saying. You can't gather personally, right? I can't go over to my neighbors next door, but I can go to a restaurant where I can sit outside. So just what you said.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
and that's weird. So they started with like a traffic light system, and then they thought, well, okay, we need another color. Let's go with purple. That'll work.
Purple. Yeah,
Yeah,
funny enough. Okay,
you're not quite sure
so
whether purple's a good color or a bad color. I guess
it's
it's not,
bad. Yeah, I think
yeah,
I was like, oh, purple, great. Like we have, something better. Maybe there's a blue on the other side of that. Thinking of the color wheel here, but okay,
yeah.
we can move on to normal stuff now. I'm not going to bury our promotions and stuff at the very end. I think most people know you here, but Alex, you have a YouTube channel. People could check out your channel. What's some of the newest videos, some stuff that you're excited about that you just want to plug right now?
Well, I did a video on Monday, which was quite interesting. I was basically looking into whether short content ranks, and I know that you've done some stuff on this as well. But I did a very short post, because basically this is around my case study site, which is bestroofbox.com. I know a number of you know what site it is. And I created a post around a car, the Acura. I never know how to say it. We don't have Acuras over here. I think they're like Hondas, aren't they?
Yeah, accurate,
Around the
accurate.
Acura RDX, and I literally added 200 words of content, and then I filled out the rest of the article with AAWP content, so a table and some other product boxes. And yeah, that's got, I think, position 3 on the first page of Google for the term Acura RDX roof box. So I did a video around that and just having a look at whether short content can rank. And from what I can see, providing you target some keywords that aren't too competitive, go for longer tail keywords, 4 or 5 words or more, you can rank without writing, 2,000, 3,000 words. You can do it with maybe less than 1,000 words.
Very cool. And how long ago did you publish that post?
It must be maybe 2 months old, something like that. Maybe even less than that. Quite recently.
All right.
What's your experience with short content?
Basically, what you said, if it can help the visitor, if it is a long tail query, not too competitive, it's going to do okay. I know,
Yeah,
actually, I was reviewing someone's site recently and they had extremely long form where most of the content was, 8 to 10,000 words. And it's almost too much.
too
It's
much.
almost
Yeah.
too long. So I think with the right keyword, it's probably going to work out pretty well. And I'm
Yeah,
curious,
and
like
it's
how
very focused
quickly.
keyword. I mean, I think the problem is when you go to write long content, what can happen is you can deviate away from the actual topic of the article, around what the actual thing is. Because, if I'm writing about a particular car and the roof boxes that can fit on that car, there's not too much to say. Do a couple of paragraphs about, this is the car, it's a great car, but it's got limited space and you need to be aware of these things. And then, here's 4 or 5 roof boxes that'd be perfect for it. There's not much more to say.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right with that. And yeah, if you make it too long, it's too fluffy. Maybe you end up with a lot of fluff in the article, an intro that's too long, you just rambling, kind of like what you're
Yeah, and
doing
you're trying to
now.
fill it out, and then you go off into other tangents that aren't relevant. And I think what can happen then is you can confuse Google a little bit because Google comes in and looks at the first bit and goes, okay, it's about this, and then it continues to crawl, and then it's getting all this other stuff, and it's thinking, okay, well, is it about this or is it about that? And you're just kind of diluting what the actual article's about. So, I mean, because it's a question I get all the time, I'm sure you do all the time as well. People asking, how long should my content be? How many words does it need to be to rank? And I think the answer is it depends.
It does depend. As short as you can make it, usually, is
Yeah,
what I am
yeah,
aiming towards now, especially thinking of YouTube. And, there's classic advice on, at the beginning, it was have short videos and then it was have longer videos. Those tend to rank better. You'll get longer watch time. And at this point, I usually either do long interviews like this or I'll make a video basically as short as I can, even if it's only 3 minutes long. So.
yeah. There was like a rule with YouTube that you needed to have a video that was at least 10 minutes because then you'd be eligible for some extra ad payment. I think it's 8 minutes now, isn't it? Then you can add the mid rolls, I think.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
but yeah, I think again, you should just create content. Content should be as long as it needs to be to fulfill whatever the content is about.
And what I like to say is if you're unsure, if you don't have like empirical data or anything to go off of, just think about the end user, think about the visitor on your website, the YouTube viewer, what's best for them. If you just remove the SEO nonsense and the algorithm that you're trying to figure out and just publish the best content for the visitor, that's probably the best thing to do. So